friends, welcome back to my channel. Wanted to come on here today and react to the Booker Prize 2023 Longlist announcement. So if you've been watching my channel for some time, then you may remember that I have had this long-standing relationship with the Booker Prize where it is my goal to read and review all of the Booker Prize winners. So I have this collection of Booker Prize winners, all of these books, and all of these books up to here and this one is not in order are previous Booker Prize winners. And so I started this project where I read the book and review it, and I'm reading them in order of wins. So I collect the Booker Prize winners, and I've read a lot of them, even if I haven't yet reviewed them in single videos on the channel. But that's another story, that's another discussion for another time. What I wanted to say was that I love the Booker Prize. I feel like the books that I have read that are Booker Prize winners have all given me something. They're an experience of a time and place that sometimes is only available through books. And I love the political discourse that is available through books that win the Booker Prize. When compared with other books that are nominated for the prize, sometimes I feel like the winner, the emergent winner, is not always the best told story. But I feel like it is the book that emerges as a reflection on a political environment, and it's a cultural statement that captures imagination and captures the attention of the reader. So that's just my experience from having read winners as well as other books that were nominated in those years. Using that background and looking at the books that have been nominated for the Booker Longlist, I haven't read any of the books that have been longlisted. I really thought that some of the books that were American popular would have shown up in this list, like Barbara Kingsolver's novel and Hernan Diaz's novel, both of which won the Pulitzer Prize this year. Neither of them are longlisted. That is quite surprising to me, because especially Kingsolver's novel, I feel like, is a really immersive cultural statement. American population dealing and reeling from the prescription drug epidemic. Hernan Diaz's novel Trust reflected on the advent of the financial empire that is Wall Street. A little bit of the people who reside in the background. And so I thought those novels were brilliant. I thought they were really brilliant representations of a time in American history that was very important. So I'm surprised that they are not longlisted, but I'm going to trust these judges. I'm going to trust that the judges, chaired by Ezi Dujian, who brought us Washington Black, I'm going to just trust that these judges picked some really good candidates. And so I'm going to try to read some of the long list. I don't think I'll get to all of it, at least not before the short list is announced, but I'm going to try. So these are the books that are longlisted for this year's Booker Prize. And I really enjoyed looking at, maybe I enjoyed looking at it more than what it actually said. But I enjoyed how they share on the website, the Booker Prize website. I love how they share where the novels came from and why these novels were chosen. So there are 13 books on the long list. The Booker Dozen, as it is called. 4 Irish writers, 4 debut novelists, and 10 authors who are recognized by the Booker Prize for the first time. Okay, that's great. I'm going to mess up some of these names. I'm not going to try to pronounce the authors' names. It will just be here on the screen. The first long-listed book is The House of Doors. Then there is The Bee Sting, Western Lane, In Ascension, Prophet's Song, All the Little Bird Hearts, Pearl, This Other Eden, How to Build a Boat, If I Survive You, Study for Obedience, Old God's Time, and A Spell of Good Things. So there are some authors on here that I am familiar with. A Spell of Good Things is by the Nigerian author Ayobami Adebayo. She wrote Stay With Me, which I absolutely loved. I felt like that book should have won the Booker the year it was nominated. So it's good to see that this author is back on the list. If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery. Jonathan Escoffery is an American author of Caribbean heritage. So I'd put this book on my TBR for Caribathon and didn't get to it. So now I'm going to try to get it back from the library, and I'm pretty sure there's a wait list for it now. Back then it was on the shelves. Now I'll probably have to reserve a copy. This other Eden by Paul Harding, that's the other American author on this list, and this is set in Maine, I think, talking about the Malangan Island in Maine, which I'm not familiar with, so I'm really interested to read that one. So these are some of the books that are going on my TBR for the Booker long list. So Ayobami Adebayo's novel A Spell of Good Things, If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery, This Other Eden by Paul Harding, and Pearl. I'd really like to read Pearl. It seems like a really short book, and maybe one that I can accomplish during my 30 and 30 attempt. Some of these other books look to be lengthy tomes, and I am not going to be able to read a tome this month, unless it was already a part of my TBR for another reason. So let me see which other book looks short. Western Lane seems to be a pretty short read, so I'm going to add that to my TBR. And then we'll see how many of these I can get from my library and what I can read before we move on to the short list. Ezia Dujian released a statement about the selection for the novels. She said, "We read 163 novels across 7 months, and in that time, whole worlds opened to us. The list is defined by its freshness, by the irreverence of new voices, by the iconoclasm of established ones. All 13 novels cast new light on what it means to exist in our time." I'm very interested and intrigued to see how this statement is actually realized in reading the novels. She says, "And they do so in original and thrilling ways. Their range is vast, both in subject and form. They shocked us, made us laugh, filled us with anguish, and above all, they stayed with us." Stay with me. Ayobami Adebayo. I'm calling it right now and saying, without having read any of the novels, this reference to staying with us means that Ayobami Adebayo is going to win. And that's just me casting a prediction out there with absolutely no bias. But let's revisit this after the winner is announced in a few months and see if I was right. So the other thing that I really liked from the website was when they showed, I love to see the Booker in the numbers. 10 is the author's longlisted for the Booker Prize for the first time. 656 is the number of pages in the longest book on the list. Yeah, like I said, that's not on my TBR for any time soon. 7 is the previous Booker nominations between the writers on the long list. 4 debut novels on the long list. 32 years between the oldest and youngest authors on the long list. That's really interesting. Last year there was also a very young author nominated, Nightcrawling by, can't remember her name now, but Nightcrawling, the author of Nightcrawling, was really young as well, and her book was fantastic. And 7 is countries represented by the long-listed authors. So 7 countries represented in 13 books. Sebastian Barry joins a select group of 10 other writers who have been nominated for the Booker Prize at least 5 times. Kantwang Eng has been nominated for each of his 3 novels. Ayobami Adebayo is the 5th Nigerian novelist to be nominated for the Booker Prize, and if she wins, she will be the 2nd Nigerian-born winner after Ben Okri, who won for The Famished Road, which I read and loved. Some of the novels are rooted in true events, so they're historical fiction, and others are inspired by other literary works. That was it. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on looking at the Booker 2023 long list and what I'm planning to read. Would love to know from you if you are planning to pick up some of these long-listed books now that the long list has been announced. And I know I'm a few days late, but a reaction is a reaction whenever it comes, right? So that's what I'm going to be trying to pick up from the long list. Would love to hear from you if you are reading the list, if you're excited about it, if you're disappointed by the selections. Tell me your thoughts. If you've read any of the books that have been longlisted, what are your thoughts going in? Do you have a prediction? Like I told you, mine. I would love to hear yours, especially if it's a prediction before you've read any of the books. Would love to know that. So because I am doing my 30 in 30 project. Currently reading this book, Dominique Starnone's Trick. This was translated by Jhumpa Lahiri. And because I'm a little bit behind, kind of fell off my schedule over the weekend, so I'm trying to finish 2 books today to try to get back on track. So this is what I'm reading, and the book or long list is what I'm hoping to get started on soon. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, and until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye.